Congratulations, beer nerd. You found your new favorite podcast, The Beer Report.
Well, hello. This is Groucho.
And this is CHUD.
And what do you know about that? It's a beer report for June of 2018.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, not any of us, apparently. We forgot we existed.
Yeah, it was a fluke deal. The CHUD came over today, and I do appreciate you sticking around to do a beer report, so this is pretty excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using the new gear, so if we sound a little different, I apologize, and it looks really cool, but it may not sound as cool as it looks. I don't know.
This might be like, rims on a Honda Accord or something like that.
Hey, no, wait a second. I got a shitty Celica.
Got your 1990 Civic with the... I don't know if you ever saw this back in the day where people actually made like fake spoilers out of like cardboard or
dude, there's like a whole website called Shitty Car Mods or something like that. Yeah, you'll see like plywood spoilers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty excellent.
You used to see those in Florida all the time.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. There's Tampa was known for having large groups of Fast and Furious wannabes, and
all the kids who kill people on the roads are generally Miami and Tampa and Orlando, aren't they?
Yeah.
What is that all about? There's like a speed culture down there. Is it all drag racing all the time or what?
Yeah, it's all these. There is a lot of drag racing too.
But
I don't know.
Not the RuPaul drag race kind of thing, because that goes on.
Well,
down there too.
There's that too. That's more Miami and West Palm. But yeah, there is just a culture of the car guys, like the guys who just go fast in packs. Mm-hmm. There's the drag racing. Yeah, because there's a kid I went to high school with. Yeah, he killed somebody drag racing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then all like the motorcycle guys who just fly around at like 180 miles an hour on I-4. It's just
that's no good.
Nuts.
Yeah, I think the other day some woman was walking her child in a stroller across some road, and I think she was even at a crosswalk, and some kids killed her.
Yeah, Florida is the most dangerous state in the country for pedestrians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like by far higher numbers are killed in Florida of pedestrians than anywhere else.
But wait a second, it's a paradise of no property taxes.
Paradise. Yeah.
We know it firsthand what paradise it is, yeah. All right. So, hey, before we get too deep into anything, the beer of the night is the Bravus Brewing Company IPA. It is a keep cold, drink fresh, keep cold, drink fresh.
He's reading the can.
Yeah. The folks at Bravus believe that the beer should be about the experience.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Not the alcohol content.
So,
what do you think about this one?
So you're saying it's a weenie beer?
I'm just saying. Yeah.
No, that is a good point. Let me try it. It's pretty tasty. It's actually got more of like a fruity, kind of thing going on.
It's actually kind of reminds me of drinking like grapefruit juice, like a watered down grapefruit juice.
Yeah, it's kind of got a thicker body on it than I expected.
Oh, it's got like a corny nose to it. So I will let you look at that can. PJ was quite thrilled with himself for finding this because he likes this beer.
Oh. You know what? Actually, I will say for this, it's completely impressive.
Okay, yeah, because
this is because I was thinking of this as a genuine, like, real IPA.
Yeah.
Thought it tasted a little funny, like a little different, like something extra fruity or sweet. This is non-alcoholic.
It's a near beer. It says right down at the bottom, near beer.
Contains less than 0.05 alcohol. You know what, though? Honestly, if you could find some more IPAs like this that taste like this with this low alcohol content, I would probably drink them.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we're getting old. I think that's what happened. We've done the beer report for 15 years. I think at some point we're appreciating near beers because we're like, we got to keep our edge.
No, because man, honestly, this is kind of exciting because this is
raising your voice.
Seriously, this is good.
Yeah,
this is not bad. If this was a full 6% or whatever, I would
you were
not
suspect
say this
of
is
it
a bad
before
beer.
You found out it was near beer, though. So,
but I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
No. Like there's a little cardboardy, corny thing. I'm not sure what that is. It's just, I think maybe you got to really stretch some flavors to cover up that alcohol, because there is no alcohol burn whatsoever. So how do you fake that part? And I don't know how you do that.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where, I love the taste of good beer. I would like to drink 6 to 10 beers a night, but I could just be a complete mess. It's not possible.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like if you could make non-alcoholic wine, I would drink wine all day long, but there's no way to really fake that, I don't think.
I've never had non-alcoholic wine. I think it's called Welch's grape juice.
Yeah, I think so.
I like Welch's grape juice.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand up very tall though versus a real glass of wine. So. But you do feel like you're healthier when you drink Welch's like purple grape juice.
Yeah.
And that tangy tartness of it. You're like, that's just healthy. It just it's staining my teeth right now, and my tongue is purple.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that stuff. And it's rare. I mean, it used to be when we were kids. You don't know this. We'd get the big can and you pop the little corners of it. And that's how you drink your Welch's juice when I was a kid.
That's right. You put I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Now I think if you go to
the cans of juicy juice.
Yep. Oh yeah, those too. And
juice with sugar added.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are you talking about? That was real juice.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see the real characters on the front of the bottle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mr. Juicy was in there. So, no, not bad. PJ was quite thrilled to send this to us because he wanted to see what your reaction was to it, and I could tell it. At first, I didn't think you were going to lash out at it, but I could tell you were kind of questioning what you were.
Well, something, because there's something in the body, like malt profile, whatever you want to call it, that seems kind of off, almost adjuncty.
Yeah, I would agree. But no, pretty good. Where's it from? Texas? PJ is our man in Texas. I have to imagine he got it from there. But he is a world traveler. So
Bravus Brewing Company, Santa Ana, California.
Oh, okay. I do know PJ is in California as well. Chilling with the folks.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
All right, so let me read the rest of that description. My problem was I was reading the description. I'm trying to read ahead to make sure I didn't give it away what it was. That's why America's first brewery dedicated solely to the production of non-alcoholic craft beer. Our exclusive brewing process allows for us to craft beer, which tastes so much like an alcoholic beer, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference. So go ahead and try one. I have never heard of Bravus Brew Company, but I'd be interested to try their other flavors. I think that's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can stay afloat. But if you're thinking, compared to, if... Anyway, the couple...
It does have flake corn in it and rice.
Huh. Yeah. Good call. I went to Champaign with some friends. I was the designated driver over the weekend. And, man, the one thing is when you hang out with all your drunk friends, you're like, God, we are retards all the time.
Yeah.
And I just...
Yeah. Heaven forbid somebody should see me in public with these people.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is normally more fun. or so, I guess it's one of the rare times we're out in public like this. But anyway,
you did your good turn, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's part of me. If I could have been hanging out drinking this all night, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, well, that would have been too bad. And I know, at McQuet's in Pekin, if you drink the non-alcoholic beer, it's like $2 a bottle. They give you a break on that stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. We got thunder in the background. I'm just waiting for this show to get shut down because the power goes out. So it doesn't happen very often here at TBR Studios, but we just never know what's going to happen. So one thing, we haven't recorded in a long time, but about a week or so ago, I did make a post on the Facebook page. It was after the Bourdain suicide, and I said, man, I'd really love to do a show. And I think that came out of me because I think a lot of everything we started with doing the show comes from Phil and Don and Gonzo from Dude Night. And I think you can tell, especially with Phil and Don, I mean, I think Bourdain inspired those guys. And I think, our show, as much as it was kind of just a goofy beer show, whatever, I think there's no doubt that we took some inspiration from what those guys are doing out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I started thinking about this, too. When you realize when he started doing that show, it's kind of like when you think back to when we started doing this show, there was no beer anywhere.
No.
When he started doing the show, there was none of this travel stuff. There was none of this foodie stuff that's everywhere.
He was a groundbreaker for sure.
He was an absolute pioneer. And since he died, I've been watching a lot of the back episodes, and you start realizing there is so much of the world that you would not be familiar with if it wasn't for all the stuff that he did.
Oh yeah. Well, I would have never known about the canoe culture of Thailand. Eating canoe markets. But even I remember one time I think he was in Sicily and they were making fish brine, fish sauce, and basically just salting the shit out of fish. You throw in a 5-gallon bucket and you come back a week later and you got fish sauce, and it's like you could taste it and smell it through the TV. It was so gritty and so real. I think the one thing I talked to somebody who wasn't really familiar with his work, and they're like, "Well, what was so special with this guy?" I'm like, he wasn't going to the 3-diamond Michelin restaurants. He wasn't that guy, who was hanging out with the hoity-toity upper crust crowd.
And he could do that every once in a while. He'd do that.
Yeah, every once in a while, and every once in a while he'd take you and he'd put his nose in the air and say, "This is the creme de la creme of French cuisine or something like that." But realistically, that wasn't what his show was about. It was usually about relationships with people and food, and especially, the story behind the food of the locale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a different thing, and I think I love traveling, and the food thing I would love to eat and travel, but if you did everything like Bourdain did and traveled, you'd be broke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a week just to spend hitting little bistros and cafes and bakeries, throughout northern Paris or northern France. But it sure would be nice. So it's great to live vicariously through somebody like Bourdain.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, talking about living vicariously, it is one of those things where people, they look at Bourdain like, oh, you get to travel the world, you get to do all these things you love. Like, how could you be miserable? How could you not be happy? But you forget, everything he did was a fluke. You
think?
Like it all started from a fluke. He was a junkie up until he was 45.
Oh yeah.
And so it's only been 15 years since then, which maybe in some ways sounds like a long time, but when you're like an addict and you live that sort of lifestyle that he lived, there's a darkness inherent in that, and that doesn't go away.
No.
It just, you can try and make that a smaller portion of your life, but there's always a little hole of an abyss that you could slip back into, and you don't really make that stop. And I think the whole point of the show, the fact that some of his shows, he was so much in hanging out with people and hanging out with his families. You see, like that's sort of his show. He's at home nowhere.
Yeah,
he can go be a part of somebody else's home and have a great time, but that's not his place. He doesn't have his own place.
Yeah, you're right. You may actually lack identity. I read Kitchen Confidential and Medium Raw, and Confidential was cool. I mean, he really talks about just starting at being a dishwasher at a nice place in upper Massachusetts or somewhere up there by Maine or somewhere the Northeast, and just gritty. The whole book is gritty, and the people they worked with were gritty. And he was just when you go around the backside, and you know this from working in the hospitality industry, you go around the backside of any fine dining establishment, there's always 4 or 5 chefs and some dishwashers out passing a joint around or smoking. Oh, yeah. Smoking like chimneys, guys who are supposed to have the best palates in the world. Smoked like it's nobody's business. I never could understand that. And, and even the guys at Harvest Cafe and stuff like that, we've seen that over the years. I mean, like, how do you do that? But that is just, that's not the side that normal patron sees at those fine restaurants.
No, and I think now that they do sort of like the open kitchen thing, and it's almost as like being a foodie has become this well-known, respectable sort of thing.
I don't think Bourdain was a fan of the open kitchen. I'd listened to something, and he was talking about he would have never survived in an open kitchen.
Oh, no, because I think back, even when I worked at, at a high-end country club for years, that place was a pirate ship behind that door. Like, we smoked so many joints back by the trash bins where we threw our roaches. I went back there one day, and there were pot plants growing from like the seeds from our crappy weed just in the roaches that we tossed out.
That's awesome.
And the sous chef took them home to grow them in his bathtub. So
yeah, well, the same thing. When I worked in Fort Myers, and our sous chef at our Michelin-rated restaurant, he was a stoner beyond belief, and I know half the servers, everybody was getting wasted all the time. That's just, that was just part of the industry. So yeah, the heroin thing, though, I don't know anything about. So I don't know that darkness. I just know, if somebody's addicted to something, but man, I mean, he was sober for a long time for that stuff, but he still drank.
Yeah, he still drank. He still partied a lot. Though I think he did that mostly like on the show for things. I think I heard him say that like when he was home, he didn't do that, but he had become like almost like a jiu-jitsu addict. But
he looked really gaunt the last couple of years. You notice that? I just looked thin, and I just figured he was a health nut. I figured he was probably running endurance running or something, but I think he smoked way too much. There's no way that dude smoked and ran and exercised. I should have probably known. He's probably not taking care of himself.
Well, as far as the addiction thing, people I've known who've been heavily into heroin and other like opiate type things, even when they sober up, there's always something that doesn't quite come back.
Yeah.
There's always a little hole there it's hard to explain, I think, unless you've done too many like ex-addicts like that. They find something else to get addicted to, and there's just something at the center of their personality that isn't quite there, and there's nothing they can really do to fill it. So it gives the susceptibility that at any time they can kind of fall back into that sort of like darkness of despair and depression and anxiety and everything else that...
Yeah, I don't think anybody... I never had an illusion that he was like a whole person. I always felt like, especially after reading some of the books, I'm like, this guy, he's a broken dude, but I give him credit. I mean, when I was reading the article when he died, about basically there's a film crew there with him. He's got other support staff from CNN, and they basically all packed up and took off. And I'm like, you're not just traveling by yourself doing these shows. I mean, you're traveling with, 10 other people probably, and everything is scripted and planned, and he's got to be toting these people along. I mean, how much is there? It's just improvisation. I'm sure his whole style is improvisation, but a lot of it is structured. I mean, they knew where they were going. They knew where they're going to be staying. So that is work.
That travel is...
It certainly wasn't a fun thing to be... maybe it is. I travel a lot for work, and I was telling you, man, when you're traveling, you're on the road, and you spend a couple days in a hotel room, and you're by yourself, your family's across the world or something like that, and you don't know anybody, you're in town, you don't know anybody. It's just like it's like being in outer space. It's like being in the blackness of space, and you're just like, I'm here, and I can see, if you got a flawed soul, or there's just if you still have something niggling at you, like what you're talking about with the drug addiction, it's got to be even doubly hard to be on the road and deal with that.
Yeah, well, and catching up on the show, one of the episodes was him supposedly taking a vacation in the Greek Isles.
Okay.
And it's just him by himself for a week, basically, in some beautiful place in Greece. And the end of the show is that, if you're essentially alone, is it better to be in some place beautiful or not? Because it's almost worse being in this beautiful place with nobody to share it with.
I can see that.
And that was like the end line of the show, and you're like, oh, like that's
Yeah, you want to share. I mean, that's the worst part. It's like a embarrassment of riches at that point. You're by yourself. You're in the most beautiful part of the world. For me, and I think you're the same way when it comes to beer, when it comes to food, when it comes to anything. The best part about it is sharing this stuff. Now, ultimately, he is sharing because they're broadcasting, they're putting it on TV, and he's sharing the experience in books and all that stuff. But it's not the same as the immediate gratification of actually having somebody with you at the same time.
Yeah, and he's got like his crew, but it's not. But it's different than, like you said, the experience of home of like, this is your wife and kids, and this is, these are your people. This is your actual tribe of humans that you have like a regular rhythm with.
Yeah, and I don't know that he really had that with anybody.
No, I mean, and you can only, we all exist to a certain extent of, we all have our own certain level of alienation. You kind of have to have that to some level to be an individual. But if you don't really have any real strong connection at all, I mean, I don't know. After he got divorced, from his second wife, he had a kid with. Cause it seemed like his daughter had always.
And she was like an MMA fighter. I saw some pictures of her. She was kind of rough looking. I mean,
who's that?
His second wife, the one he had the kid with.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It didn't. I don't know the guy, so I mean maybe that fit the mold. But then when I saw he was dating currently, and this is the other thing too. I'm not judging. He can do whatever he wants. But man, when you start wrapping yourself around somebody in their 20s, is that what this?
No, she wasn't that. She was 20 years younger than him. And actually, the last episode from like season 8 on Netflix, if you watch Parts Unknown, it's him and Ozzy Argento like in hanging out in the dirty parts of Rome.
Okay.
And like you can see it. Like you can see like this is why like these two like hooked up and got together.
Okay.
But there's also a part of me it's like she's still 20 years younger than you.
Yeah,
you know what?
And
and you are still chasing a dream of your youth. That you're 60, man. Like
yeah, you can never fulfill it. You know what? I always give guys credit. I shouldn't give credit, but if you hear me out on this, I've known a friend of mine. His dad has been married like 7 times.
Yeah,
and it's funny. The guy's like 70 years old and married 7 times, and all the ex-wives are bitter because he always finds a younger, sportier model.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know what? That guy's just wired different. He just thinks that when he's done with one, it's just time to move up or time to trade one in.
Yeah,
and maybe that's a casual existence. I don't know. Maybe he's a genius. But the other part of me is like, I don't think I could deal with the stupidity of dealing with people who are 20 years younger than me all the time. I deal with it every day at work. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine living with somebody. It'd be one thing to be like, all right, every day I'm going to go out and I'm going to show you something new, something cool because I've done all this. But eventually that gets kind of tiring because you're like, what can you show me? Oh, I can show you how to be crazy, blah, blah, because this is what we do at my age. And I'm like, okay, that'll get me one night a week,
Yeah.
We can go and get crazy, but that's going to get boring, isn't it? I don't know. I think at some point, youth and beauty has to give way to somebody with experience, especially if you're 60. You can't be chasing 30-year-olds around anymore.
Well, I think there's something about that speaks to, again, a certain flaw in...
Well, again, is it a flaw?
Well, I mean, yeah,
it's
whether it's a bug or a feature, I guess.
A glitch.
There's part of me that's like, even if you're in really good shape, if you're going that hard all the time, like drinking that much on the road and like stuffing yourself like that, and at some point, like, are you running towards new adventures? Or are you running away from something as hard as you goddamn can every moment of your life?
Yeah.
Well, and eventually you've run out of the world to run to. Like,
well, the other thing is, at what point do you want to retire and just be done with this stuff? But I don't know anybody who did it better than Bourdain. So, if Bourdain says, I'm going to retire, I'm never going to do another show again, he sits out for a year, and then CNN shows back up again like, hey, here's $20 million. And you're like, yeah, fuck, $20 million, and I get to travel around. I don't know. There is nobody to fill this guy's place. There is absolutely nobody.
No, not at all. He was an absolute master.
Yeah, and to me, and I think his books, unfortunately, his books he didn't write fiction like Hemingway did, but to me, in a little bit of a way, he's kind of like a little bit of a Hemingway to me, because Hemingway was very descriptive and very plain, but Hemingway wrote fiction. Yeah. Whereas Bourdain really, wrote about his experience. But man, I just have to think that if Hemingway did a TV show about traveling and eating, it probably would have been very similar.
Probably right. It's probably pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And it might be a guy thing too, because I don't know any women who like Hemingway. Just don't. And I'm not sure.
I don't either. Wow, I never thought. It is a total guy thing.
It is. And I'm sure there's going to be a woman out there who's going to say, I love Hemingway. Well, you probably could find a lot of guys in college if that were the case.
Yeah.
And maybe not even college, because I don't know that I really got Hemingway until after college. We tried in high school, but the Pearl or whatever, the Old Man of the Sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That book doesn't get it done. Sorry. But the Bourdain thing, I think. I don't know. Do you think was there a woman aspect to that? Do you think women follow that show as much as guys do? Because to me, it seemed like all guys who were like distraught by this.
I don't know. I've known a lot of women who like the show, but I think there is. I think the one thing that made his story so inspiring is, I think one of the big aspects is that he didn't get big till he was like 45.
Yeah,
like he was just a regular guy working a regular job with
a regular slob.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he writes one article, and his mom's like, "Put it in the New Yorker." He's like, "Oh, whatever, fine." And then, like the next day, like it gets published. Next day, book deal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Now I did listen to an interview with him. Marin replayed his podcast with him from like 5 or 6 years ago. And I mean, it was pretty good. I would have loved to have heard something more recent just to hear if there was something, because it was everything I expected from Bourdain from 6-7 years ago. But he did say he could never be a top chef. He said, you know, he could do the kitchen stuff, and he could, you know, do the prep work and all that stuff, and he was a pretty good cook, but he was never dedicated to his craft the way that these people that he talks to and interviews and does on the shows. And they always appreciate him because he could appreciate what they're doing, but he said he was never that good. And I thought that was really candid that he would admit, you know, he could just walk and say, oh yeah, I'm Anthony Bourdain, I'm a rock star or whatever, but he never had any illusions that he was a master chef.
Yeah. You know, and his humility, especially in the years after his kid was born.
Yeah.
I think he definitely softened up, you know, because he used to be that guy who's known for kind of talking shit and, you know, being straight up. And it's funny, I was watching some show with him. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was the show Top Chef, actually, where he was like a judge.
Yeah, I think he was on there once.
Yeah, and he was on there, and you could tell, like, from previous season, he was the guy they hired to come in and be a dick. And he was kind of doing it, but you could see the look on his face like, I'm ashamed that I'm doing this caricature anymore. You know?
Yep.
And I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think the other part about it is...
Part of me was like, I relate to that.
Yeah. But the other thing about him is I think a lot of us deposit our own feelings and emotions into everything we experience with him. Because, you know, you and I are here hypothesizing about all these different things about, oh, he probably thought this, he thought that. You know, nobody knows what he was thinking except for him. You know, but there was just something every man about him. I think we all felt we were invested with him. So I think that's the other thing that makes it really tough, you know, to talk and think about, you know, what he did. And maybe I'm completely off base here, but part of me was really hoping that he died from like a drug overdose because of weakness or some stupid, you know, David Carradine hang myself jerking off thing, you know, because he was totally an erotic nut or something. I hate to think that he hung himself just because he thought the world was a bleak place and he had nowhere else to go. That's my worst thought about the whole thing. So I'd like to think he did something just stupid because he was a thrill seeker. Yeah, well, because I think there's something to mention that, like, his mom saying he'd been in a dark mood a few days before. And I read something else saying, like, after him and his ex-wife, well, I guess the second wife, I guess they were never officially divorced, but they split. Okay. But anyway, he met Asia Argento, and then apparently they were so, like, head over heel, or he was so head over heels with her that some of his friends are like, dude, you're getting a little... Oh, really?
Like sort of the manic part of a manic depressive sort of thing, where he was just way too weird about her, and, like, sounded like, yeah, he was just off kilter and probably just tried to work his way out of a spiral where he should have stopped and just chilled out.
Yeah, it's too bad. Well, I'm sure that I have to think there'll be something. You know, he had to have made a call or something desperate, if it was something with his ex-girlfriend or something to do with his kid or something like that. Or, you know, but
well, it's just weird too because they were filming a special and he was hanging out with Eric Ripert. It was like his best friend.
Yeah,
like they traveled, you know. Like, I can see myself being in a dark space, but if I was hanging out with one of my friends on vacation, or, you know, even if it's a work thing, it's still like that's that to me.
That's like I said, it's hard to put your mind in there. You want to because you feel like you know the guy, but ultimately, we'll never know anything. Just one of those deals just went down. Yeah, toxicology will tell a lot too, so we'll see. Yeah, but I mean, even if it was kind of I don't. Yeah, my thing as far as talk about what you were hoping it might happen. I remember. I think he went to, like, was it Romania? Yeah. And he pissed off a bunch of people in the country. And I was like, man, I hope the Romanians were like, fuck this guy. He's back in Europe. We're taking him out. That's what I was really hoping for. I was like, that'd be a good. Because I think, or what did I say? Somebody, I don't know if it was BS saying something like he possibly had, like, a gig with the CIA and somebody took him out. I was like, that'd be great. That'd be the best if he was actually like James fucking Bond. He's traveling the world, but he's doing spy shit and eating good food and banging all the women like this. That would be... Daniel Craig could play that character. They're both angry and skinny and veiny. You know? Shoot. And then Kate Spade died before that, and I had no idea who this was. And
I'd never heard of her before.
My wife goes, I don't know. I always wanted one of her purses, but now I probably shouldn't get one because I look like I'm just buying one because she died. And I'm like, you know who this is? I don't even know who Kate Spade is. And
apparently she had $200 million.
Yeah.
Like, apparently a lot of people know what purse that is. Like, Jesus. The worst part about that, you hear about that suicide note?
No.
It was like to her daughter. It's like, this wasn't your fault. Ask your father.
Oh, my God. Yeah, because he wanted a divorce or something like that.
Like, but that is...
It's brutal.
God,
it's brutal,
damn.
man. Yeah, whatever. Don't get it. And I think you got to be in a dark, dark place where you can really wrap your mind around the darkness that would creep into somebody and make you end your life. It just doesn't seem possible. But you know what? I'm sure anybody could get there if they had to. So it's probably a shorter walk than you might think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to the old Joker line. Like, you're just one bad day away from being me. You know? And honestly, I think... from my experience with all like the addicts I've ever known, no matter how good life ever is, like there's an old like Velvet Underground song, Sunday morning, like it's something like, like the past is always just right on the other side of the door. Like it's never far. Like you might. It's
funny. I was just listening to that song today.
Yeah, it might.
Bourdain loved the Velvets. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite things in the world on Instagram was following him on Instagram because he always would have like old furs going while he's doing his Instagram videos, just like cruising down a boulevard somewhere. You just see the lights. You don't even know where he's at. And you can hear the Velvets in the background. Like, it was so chill. It was just like, man, that's how you live right there, But again, dark.
Yeah,
dark.
The Velvet Underground is dark though, especially like, if ever hanging around the drug scene, like there's a thick darkness and a sort of twisted sarcasm behind that maybe you have to experience a little closer to have more of that come out of it. So that to me was like probably overworked. God, dude, the guy's getting old.
Who?
Bourdain.
61.
Yeah.
Right? No, was he 61?
I think he's 61.
Okay.
It's a lot of years of pouring a lot of substances on your brainstem.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what damage or I don't. Once you get to that age, I don't even know what your body starts doing. Like, what hormonal changes start freaking people out.
Well, it's only like 14 years away from me, so thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate that. Maybe in 24 years you'll know that.
Yeah.
All right, so we didn't really plan anything for the show, and we hadn't done a show in forever, and I did put us we're on with a group of Peoria podcasters called the Peoria Podcast Alliance. Oh, yeah. And we had a big meeting, and there was lots of shaking of hands and talking about ideas.
And finger foods and bottled water.
It was at Buffalo Wild Wings. Anyway, so we thank those guys for letting us be on the feed. But, we only do a show like once every 6 months. So those other guys are doing like a karaoke show, a zombie show, and all. Before you just start digging into everybody, just know it's a very pleasant thing. So we'll be on the feed.
I had nothing bad to say about these people. I don't know who they are.
Oh, and there's a new bar opening up in Pekin, the West Dublin Pub. I ate lunch there this week. I know I'm not trying to piss off anybody at McQuet's because I love McQuet's. We go to McQuet's all the time. You went there for the first time with us.
Yeah. That place was killer.
Yeah, it's a great place, one of the best places in Pekin. But a new place opened in Pekin, and it's a long time coming because honestly, I don't want to make a long commentary on this, but Pekin lacks a downtown environment where you can get food and beer in a casual atmosphere that's nice. There are lots of other places down there, but everything is dated. Everything looks tacky or it's sticky with grease, and it's just not nice. So it's good to have two places downtown because, frankly, if you go to McQuet's at 10 till 12 on any weekday during the week, you're not getting a table. That place is packed, so it's nice to have
I wish we had a place like that in downtown Bloomington. Because we've got a couple places. Yeah. And honestly, all of them...
Is that AJ's still down there or whatever that is?
I don't...
Oh, I thought it was across from the courthouse with the green awnings. What's that place called?
Oh, there was like a Michael's. Yeah. But, basically everything at this point downtown has pissed me off. Like... to the point. Oh no, we do still have. It's not a restaurant, but we've got the beer arcade, which is cool.
You got 8-Bit, yeah.
That place rocks.
I love 8-Bit in Peoria.
Yeah, but I'm pretty much ready to say to hell with the rest of like what's going on in downtown Bloomington. We got 2 new breweries that have opened. I've not got a chance to go to either one yet.
Yeah, I guess we should. I mean, there is plenty of beer news when it comes since the last time we've done a show because I've drank beer at the Bearded Owl. Christian Payne's new place, the guy who was in with Todd.
Oh, you stopped in there?
Yeah, had a couple beers. Got great beers, phenomenal beers.
I didn't realize he was the one doing that. Well, shit, then I'm there. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're tremendous. They're very.
I loved his style.
Yeah, well, and he's doing like small batch stuff. I gotta be honest with you though, there's not enough people in the seats every time I go there. So maybe the summer is kicking up, and
It's in a weird spot.
Well, Brian's place around the corner, the Tannins and Hops. You haven't been there yet, have you?
Oh, you're talking about the place in Peoria. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We've got another place in Bloomington. Well, yeah, I thought it was the Bearded Owl.
No, you got.
No, we've got the Little Beaver. Brewery.
Little Beaver,
that's right?
Dude,
that and Keg Grove. So
yeah, Keg Grove, and what was the other?
We've got
White Oak,
which I stopped in there. It's just a little building, but we had some decent beers in there. You know where I stopped? Got wrecked this weekend.
Where's that?
By accident, it was Kemp's up in Lexington.
Oh my God!
We stopped there.
That is the best.
Coming
place
back from the funeral. Oh man, that place was fantastic.
Where was the funeral at?
Oh, it was in Chenoa.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
It was at a Baptist. Oh man.
Yeah, you needed a beer after that.
Yeah. Oddness. But dude, that place is killer.
His first time there?
Yeah, I'd never been there.
Oh
before.
yeah, Kemp's is. Well, did you ever go to the old Kemp's when it was in that tiny little place? Okay, so Kemp's is this hidden gem on 55, Interstate 55, between Chicago and St. Louis, and holy smokes, they got like 20 taps there. But Kemp is a beer nerd, and he's got some weird stuff there all the time, and premium beers.
Yeah, great beer, and the food was good. We just got like some sandwiches and like what do we get? Like some cheese sticks and like the best pot stickers you've ever had in your whole goddamn life. They were fantastic. They were like disturbingly good. Like, what the hell are these doing out here in Lexington, Illinois?
Yeah, no, awesome. It definitely worth. Every time I go to Fairbury, I want to stop there, but I can't really make an excuse. And the problem is, even if I stop there, I still got another like 45 to 50 minutes to get home. So. Yeah, but it's worth stopping for one beer. Even if you're especially if I'm in the car by myself, yeah, I'm gonna stop there and get one beer and then get out of there. And they always look at me funny, like, "You got anything else?" Nope, just one beer. I'm good. I'll get out of here. So,
yeah, that's just, yeah. So I was dying for like, why isn't this near my house? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so Keg Grove, going back to the ones that are in Bloomington now, that thing looks like a lot of money's being spent. A lot of glass.
Yeah,
a lot of
somebody dumped a lot of money in that old building.
Okay, where's that one at?
It's on Empire. It's kind of right. It's kind of close to like the corner of like Empire and Linden, I think.
Do you have any landmark? Tell me.
Well, no, it's kind of weird because it's in a weird spot, kind of toward the center of town, but there's nothing else around there. There's like a cycling shop, and it's seriously not close to anything else.
Okay.
It's just you just kind of have to look it up. But I know it seems like they're putting a lot of money and trying to do a lot of promotion for that place. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of money being spent, so I imagine the promotion will be pretty heavy.
I want to say there's 3 friends who started that up, and I think they all, I want to say,
are multimillionaires.
Yeah, or like executives with either State Farm or a country company or something. I could be wrong.
Well,
I think that's what some of those guys did. One of them might be a lawyer or something.
Right. Is Little Beaver a thing? Has they got a place, or what's the story there? Do you know?
No, we went to stop by there one day, but it was just before noon, and they hadn't opened yet, and the kid passed out in the back of the car.
Oh, okay.
So we ended up leaving. But they're like, you have to like go around some weird winding roads in this little area in Bloomington that I didn't even know existed, and you go to like a warehouse, like with a, like big garage door that pulls up. It looks like, so that's where that is. So at least I get the impression that place is starting small enough. They're not sinking a bunch of money into space or anything like that.
So we could literally do a brewery tour of Bloomington, Illinois.
You could now. There's now 4 breweries over there.
I guess we have to look and see what the bicycling distance is between.
Yeah.
Although Distill would be a pain in the ass. You can't pedal out to Distill's brewery. So
yeah, White Oak's not real far. And honestly, that Little Beaver Brewery would not be that far, but I just don't know if there's a route that's safe if you're wrecked to get to where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still probably a little farther than you'd want to go.
Yeah.
But Uber is cheap, and they're always at my house within 10 minutes.
That's true.
Like, so.
Yeah, just do an Uber tour of the Bloomington breweries. That's not a bad idea, especially if you could start in Lexington.
Oh my God, that could be an entertaining show.
Yeah. Just bring the Zoom player and a 12-pack of batteries.
Yeah,
because everybody wants to hear us drink on the road. We'll be the Central Illinois version of Bourdain.
Yeah, there you go.
Without the drama.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. When you drink, there's drama. It's inevitable, right?
Yeah, and eventually I'll piss off damn near every restaurant because, man, I'm at the fucking end of my rope with the goddamn Midwestern service.
Yeah.
Like Bloomington wants to be like this. I swear to God, I cannot find a fucking decent restaurant.
Now wait a second. Your wife's a waitress, so I mean.
Yeah, and where she works, complete shit service. They do not know how to run a fucking kitchen. They are such goddamn amateurs. It's ridiculous.
I always thought that was like the top line place in Wilmington.
The food's good, but when your fucking courses come out within 45 minutes of one another, like, and that shit just happens at like nicer restaurants. And I don't understand why people.
That's so people drink the wine. They do that on purpose.
They're fucking retarded. And managers, like, yeah, and here's the thing. If you're a restaurant manager and you're listening to this, and you think your people are in the weeds, whatever you do, don't fucking try to expedite for the goddamn kitchen.
No,
all you do is
when you watch Kitchen Nightmares, that's what they do. They bring the management in there to stand there and expedite.
No manager should ever be an expediter. You will never make a situation better in your kitchen. All you're doing is fucking it up, and everyone is embarrassed for you. They just think you're an embarrassing, incompetent asshole. Find some other server to do it. I don't care if there's not enough people on the floor. If you need somebody to do it, it should be anyone but you. I'd rather have the Mexican dishwasher do it who can't speak English, because that guy can get shit fucking done and you can't. Don't ever go back there. You ruin everything. Fucking, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
And I don't know why there's something in the restaurant manager's mind. Shit's fucked up. I go fuck up a job that I don't ever really do except for once every 2 weeks. And you're not making anything better. You're going to lose all your fucking tickets. You're going to lose your space, and you're going to yell at everybody. You're going to be comping a bunch of shit you don't need to comp because you fucked everything up. Stop it.
Well, they're uncomfortable standing up front there looking at the customers waiting on the food. So the last thing they want to do is actually stand back there and look at everybody.
Yeah,
so they're going to get out there in the kitchen so that way they can hide.
Yeah, but the first rule is like do no harm. Like, if that's what you're going to do, I'd rather you go just smoke pot out by the laundry bags and stay the fuck out of the goddamn kitchen. Both as a restaurant employee in my life and as a customer. Go away. You're not needed.
Are you enjoying your food today? Well, if I wasn't, I would be calling my waiter over here and saying, hey, this is fucked up. Can we get this changed out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that aspect of the job. And that's got to be like, I'll bet you the guy at Cracker Barrel has to do that. Well, Cracker Barrel's, that's probably a bad example because that's an easy one. It's the same shit everywhere. It's like the McDonald's of, sit-down food.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? You ever get good service? I go to Bob Evans. I get great service. You know, there's like a shitty, like little Midwestern, like breakfast joint. Like the food's not good. It's not great. But you know what? It's cheap. And when you go in there, everyone's friendly. Like the manager knows you by name, sits you at a table. The coffee is never like half empty.
What's the name of this place?
Like Times Past Inn.
Okay, because there's one in Pekin, the busy corner. Same thing. Mm-hmm. She knows everybody. She knows what you ordered a year ago. You walk in there, still want the Mountain Man omelet? Yeah, I don't know how the fuck you knew that, but I'll take the Mountain Man omelet.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know.
Yeah, so Times Past, because at first I went in the room, I was like, man, this looks like just some like little shitty blowhard like Midwestern joint. Like it doesn't look like. But the more we go there, I'm more like, I fucking love coming here. I get it now. I get it because everyone's cool. The service is fantastic. You don't have to like. Nothing's going to be fucked here, you know. Because there's at least 4, maybe 5 now, like supposedly good restaurants in Bloomington. And I'll be damned if I get 1 out of 3 times, maybe 50-50 service.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, God, this is bullshit. Like, why do I even keep coming back out? I'm a half decent cook if I put my mind to it. Like, I don't need to put up with this shit.
It's tough anymore. This is the part of the jaded thing. And I think this is why restaurants have to close and things have to be reopened and brought back and different menus and different chefs because ultimately, as we get older, we realize. Emergency alert. Oh, what's going on? We have a flash flood warning in this area till 2:45 a.m. Avoid flooded areas.
All right.
Well, that's very exciting news for the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, things have to churn over because you just can't have the same stuff, except for that diner you're talking about. That diner can exist for 50, 60 years.
I think it has.
and you know what? People are happy with it. But, they still can't keep the same menu for 2 years or 3 years. Cause they've
been better lately.
Yeah.
There's times I've been very frustrated with that establishment. With
the restaurant or the brewery?
The restaurant.
Yeah, I've been in the restaurant a long time.
Yeah, they kind of changed up their menu. They got some good shit on there. They're doing good. I don't know if they've got a different chef or he's just upping his game. Like, the food's coming out right. It's coming out on time. Like,
Dude,
like you don't think that should be such a monumental task for it to even be on most stuff to come out, but apparently to even get stuff regularly. I don't know. Maybe it's just my first 4 or 5 years in the restaurant business were at a money place where execution was expected and demanded, and you just didn't funk shit up, or you got your ass thrown out the door. And I just thought that's how it was. I thought that's how it was everywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a...
Hey, I run a service department. I get it. And I tell you what,
Yeah.
Decent people who can get a grip on their job, I mean, you got a short window before you figure out, what you got there, and then you got to see if you can improve it, because it's on me. If I hire somebody and I think they can do the job and they can't, well, then some of it's on them, but how much of it's on me that I didn't train them properly or I didn't give them enough chance? I mean, so you beat your head into the pavement trying to get, a square peg in a round hole, and ultimately figure out you got this square peg. It's just not going to work out. So, we got to part ways. But the same thing in a restaurant. I mean, and that's even worse because that's more fast paced. But eventually, you either got it in the restaurant business or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in that business. I'll take the car business any day of the week. At least I get to close at 5:30 every night.
Yeah.
And I'm not open on Sundays thanks to Illinois blue laws.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been an interesting show because we drank one beer. We split between ourselves.
A non-alcoholic beer.
And it was a non-alcoholic beer. So I don't even know if we can call it a beer report. This is the near beer report tonight. Yeah. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
No. But anyway, rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. I think we said everything we need to say there, didn't we?
Yeah. It's rare though when like a celebrity, he's one of the rare celebrities where I have to say, that guy did affect my life. He touched me, gave me inspiration for different things.
I would agree.
Like, that's a guy who definitely, I think the saddest part about him killing himself is that his story was like the ultimate, like, hopeful American redemption story.
Yeah.
And especially people in this country love that shit. We eat that up. And, so it's really sad, I think, of all people, for a guy who seemed like he went from nothing and like the depths of darkness and really turned it around in like this amazing life, but still just something.
Yeah, and the worst part,
right.
when you're saying inspirational, and then you instantly, because this is a short attention span America, I'm looking over, his cold shoulder, looking for the next guy, and I don't know if there's anybody. Again, I don't think there's anybody there that's going to fill that void for a long time. So that makes it even more sad. So he definitely was one of a kind, definitely an inspiration, and somebody that I'd always hoped someday I'd meet him or just even be in proximity doing something, eating somewhere where he'd been or something like that. Or, so sad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, too bad we could have had him on the beer report, but
You know what?
Come to the Midwest.
He might have done that.
He very well might.
Hey, we'll cook you a burger on the grill. And maybe some crappy hot dogs, and we'll drink some beer.
We'll just have to call up some hunter friends, and we'll get some goose and venison and
or that turkey
morels.
that was out back.
Yeah.
Yeah, kill a turkey. I don't want to clean the turkey, though. So I think I go down Tractor Supply, get that plucker thing they sell in the chicken section, and just drop the turkey in there a couple times. And then, only then shall I cut the breasts out of that thing. All right. So for the few and far between beer reports, this is Groucho.
And this is Chud.
And hopefully we'll see you sooner than later.
Want more beer report? Go to thebeerreport.com for our blog and links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media nonsense.